Hey there. I thought today, instead of answering questions, I have some lemons that I really want to photograph. So I thought I would try this, taking you through a shoot with me on Instagram Live. Just like a little shoot. This is just a creative shoot for me. I'll probably post this on Instagram later today. So I thought I would just give it a try. We'll see if it works. Because I have to have the lighting set up for my shot, so I'm going to be much further away from you than I usually am. So this is my studio, and my studio is the front room of our house that was originally designed as probably a dining room. It was used as an office. And I have these blinds, which I thought when we moved in that 4 years ago that I would leave those, I would move them, but actually, or I put something that pulls down, but actually I kind of like them because I hang things from them. So I have 3 windows here in the front, and this is where I always shoot. It's about, it's late afternoon here in California, and so this is my perfect time in the winter to shoot. So I'm getting a lot of light. I have a closed door back here, a little light behind me. But right here, so let's go through the process here. Super quick and simple. One, I want to use my metal table that I have here, which stays in my studio now all the time. And I put other surfaces on top of it, but it's metal, it has patina, it's got, a little bit of rust on it. So number one, your surface, when you pick the surface, it's going to determine the style and the look of your image. That is number one. It always dictates. It's the first thing you pick, and regardless, if you start to look at images and study them just a little bit, you see that, that surface that everything's on is really what says it's going to be light and bright or moody or vibrant or rustic. So I have something that's a little bit rustic, which is typical to my style if you know me. So I have this bowl. We have a tree in the backyard that is literally exploding with Meyer lemons. I bought that tree in the bay, and when we got it into the ground here in the Central Valley, it started to explode. But the thing is that they're huge. Like, if you get Meyer lemons at the grocery store, which I think typically come out from Florida, they're really small. Mine are huge, but they taste like Meyer lemons. So they're kind of fun to work with. And because I have a tree, I can also get the leaves off of it. I'm gonna take a linen. I think this might be a Crate and Barrel one. I don't know. It's kind of oatmeal. It has a blue stripe on it. So I am just a lay and go kind of girl when it comes to linens. So that's going to go there. This goes on top. We'll adjust it later when I figure out what I want the photo to look like and which way I want my eyes to go. I'm just going to do a bowl shot here, and then I'm going to expand it and make something a little bit different from that point. Now I find with linens that I kind of have to, sometimes depending on the bowl, I'll stuff it up under there so that it's leaning the direction that I want it to. I'm gonna be shooting with side light in this particular photo. So the light's gonna be coming from that direction, and I probably won't need to control it here on the left because of the time of day for me, but at different times of day, I might need to put a black foam board up or something here on the left to help control it a little bit more. But I know from experience and scouting my space and using this space all the time, something that I will talk more about I don't know if you saw on my feed, I have a masterclass coming up via webinar, and it is there are 4 live sessions coming up over the next 2 weeks if you want to sign up for it. And I talk about scout spotting in that, and finding your spot and how that can help your photography go a little bit more smoothly. So I know this spot that I'm getting ready to shoot in, and I can pretty well predict, and this always changes when the seasons change and time changes with natural light, but I can always predict pretty well what the photos are gonna look like. And I can also predict when I take them in the morning. They are a little drearier in the morning for me. So I have to brighten them usually a little bit, or put the camera on the tripod so that I can get a little bit more light in there. So I am, as you know, I'm a believer in the fact, I'm gonna take iPhone photos of this too. I will post all the photos in my stories, and then they'll go into, I have a highlight for live Q&As, so they'll go in there too. I'm gonna take some iPhone photos of this too, so you can see that you can do it with both. But I am using my 5D Mark IV, and I have 2 food lenses that I use all the time. The one that I've used the longest is my 24105, which isn't always that popular for food. There is one of my favorite food photographers who uses it all the time, which is one of the reasons that inspired me to get it, and I absolutely love it. And so I hope this isn't too bright, because this is just kind of the way it is to do a live demo when I have the light coming in. And then I got a 100mm macro 2 years ago, and I love that for food too, which if you've done any research on best lenses for food, you've probably seen that one. But the 24105, not so much, not so many people use it, but I love it because you can zoom as well with it. I'll put up setting, if you are into settings, I'll put that up with the photos when they post. But I need, as you know, with my Instagram account, I do horizontal, vertical, and I switch it. So I'm in need of a horizontal image right now. So I'm just gonna take a shot here. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for my hero. And I actually had someone, I was throwing around the term hero all the time because I felt like people knew what that was. But someone said, you should define those kinds of things. So my hero is this lemon that I pulled off the tree that just has this gorgeous top on it. And more importantly, I have the hero food and then the hero spot. The hero spot for me, it'll either be the bottom part of the lemon here or the leaf, depending on how it's setting in the bowl. And so that is what you focus your camera on, whether you're using a phone or a DSLR or a mirrorless or whatever it is that you choose to use. Let me just take a couple more shots here and then I'm gonna move on. All right, and I will come back and take a few iPhone photos later, but let's see. I want to expand this shot, so I want a little more, I don't know, interest to it, I guess is the word I would use. So I have this walnut board that I got from a wood maker when I was up in Tahoe. If you know me, you know that I go to Artisan Things and I love supporting artisans who make really cool products. So I bought that walnut board for occasions just like this. And so I'm just gonna have a little fun with it here, and I've got my knife. So I have a space that's big enough for me to shoot on and then work on, which I love. I have a really long space. If you don't have that, that's okay. I also have tables set up, or my kitchen is just right there. There were times when I was photographing and the kitchen was downstairs and I was upstairs, it makes it a little harder. So try to find just maybe a little spot where you, even if it's a folding table, if you don't have a whole lot of space, where you can set up prep, because depending on what you're shooting, you're gonna want a little bit of space to slice things and put some garnishes on there and all that kind of stuff. So these lemons have seeds in them, so they can be a little bit hard to cut sometimes. Let's see. So I'm just having a little bit of fun with this particular image. After you have your surface and then you have your linen arranged like you want, you put your plates and bowls and things like that, you want to think about where your eyes are going to go with the image. This is going to be an overhead shot for me, just because in order to show you this, I can't put up a backdrop back there with the way the light is. So I'm going to do an overhead because I don't have anything that can be behind it. So the way that this board is it comes down in a pretty straight line, but I want there to be just like a little bit more interest on the side there. So I'll probably put a lemon there. I have a leaf that fell off here, so I'll probably set that along the side just to add a little bit of interest. And you could even have a lot of rustic knives if you wanted to put the knife in there. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab a knife right here. I have a drawer over here that I'm not gonna show you because it's extremely disorganized. I have a huge goal in 2020 to get all my crap together, so to speak, and get everything, I'm partially organized, but I could do much better. I'm also culling my prop collection, which I talk about in the masterclass too, coming up here. I posted about it in my feed if you want to sign up for it. I talk about how streamlining your props can really help, because I was at a point where I had a lot of different jobs for clients, and so I was collecting a lot of different props. But now the clients that I have and that I'm keeping, I'm pretty streamlined with who I'm shooting for, which is probably the position you will be in if you're shooting for a small business or something like that. So, you know, it's good to have a lot of different props, but also culling your collection so that they go towards your style will help you, so that you're not sitting around trying to figure out what in the world you're gonna pick and what in the world looks good. I have this step stool from Lowe's. Let's hope that I don't fall live. I haven't fallen yet, and people are usually pretty worried about me when I get on it, but I have a pretty good balance from shooting. So like I said, this is gonna be an overhead shot for me. So I'll play with this a little bit. As I said, I'm in a position with my light right now where I don't need, this is why I love natural light. If you know me, I'm a natural light photographer. I have no desire to be inside a studio with no windows where I'm setting up lights. I love the photography that people do that way, but this is exactly what I want to do. I want this picture to be like this now and be totally different if I would take it at 10 a.m. So I'm gonna come up higher. I'm getting ready to do something, don't worry. So this is what I often do. And I would also have my hair back usually so that it wasn't hanging down. All right, got a few shots with that. Perfect. So I would love it if you have questions about this live demo to drop them to me in DM. I'll be happy to answer them. And I am going to take a few iPhone shots so you can see what is possible with the DSLR and the iPhone. I'm going to be able to get very similar images, so don't stress out about gear. And again, masterclass, 4 live sessions that you can sign up for over the next 2 weeks. I would love to have you there. It is called the 5-Step Framework for Better Food and Product Photos for Marketing Your Small Business. And you can go to my feed. There's a clickable link in my bio. You can go to loririce.com and get to it there. You can drop me a DM. I'll send you a direct link. I love communicating with you, so do that anytime. Thanks so much for joining me, and let me know if you liked this. This is different than my normal Q&A, here's this and that. I just wanted to show you what I was gonna do today and have a little fun. Have a great weekend.